Hello and welcome to the third episode of our series, What School Forgot to Teach Us About Life. I am Priscilla, the voice of self-discovery. Today, I'm going to be sharing why straight A thinking can lead to average living and how you can rewrite your playbook. So, school taught us to chase A's, but life doesn't reward straight A thinking. It rewards bold, messy, adaptive living. You can ace every test in school and still flunk the exam of life because the world doesn't ask for your transcript. It asks for your courage, your resilience, your adaptability, and your imagination. So, let's dive into what straight A thinking really is and how it sneaks into our lives long after graduation and why it often keeps us living average instead of extraordinary lives. Straight A thinking isn't just about grades, it's a mindset. It's the belief that life is about always getting things right, never failing, and collecting external rewards or approval. Let me paint a picture. Imagine a student named Sarah. She's the classic top performer, sits in the front row of the class, never turns in homework late, raises her hand only when she's sure she knows the answer. Teachers love her, parents brag about her, and she's a straight A superstar. But here's what happens. When Sarah graduates, she gets her first job. Suddenly, the rules aren't clear anymore. There's no syllabus, no multiple choice questions. Instead, her boss says, find a solution. Sarah freezes. Why? Because she's been trained to give perfect answers. She's only used to giving perfect answers. She's only used to showing up when she knows the answer, not to handle imperfect realities. Straight A thinking makes you fear mistakes, because mistakes mean you are no longer the best. But in real life, mistakes are your tuition fee for growth. Here's the thing. Many of us carry straight A thinking into adulthood without even realizing it. Think about it. You want to launch a business, but you are waiting for the perfect plan. That's straight A thinking. You want to post your ideas online, but you hold back because you are scared of criticism. That's straight A thinking. You stay in a safe job that drains you instead of daring to pivot. Why? Because you don't want to fail the test of life. That's straight A thinking again. Let's take James as another example. He was the kind of guy who could memorize a textbook front to back, go into a prestigious university, and his name is all over the walls for different good reasons. But after college, James struggled to take risks. He passed every test in school, but failed the biggest one, trusting himself when no one was handing out instructions. And so he stayed average, not because he lacked talent, but because he was imprisoned by straight A thinking. Straight A thinking rewards safety, but life, it rewards courage. When you only move if you are sure of an A+, you miss out on the messy, uncertain, opportunity-filled journey that creates breakthroughs. Here's why it leads to average living. First, you become approval dependent. You stop asking, what do I want? And start asking, what will people applaud? Second, you avoid risk, but risk is where growth hides. Third, you tend to play small because straight A thinking tells you, don't stumble, don't stretch, don't try unless you are sure, don't try unless you are guaranteed a win. Average living isn't about lack of talent. It's about living inside the safe bubble that straight A thinking builds around you. So, How do we break free from straight A thinking? First, you need to unlearn the obsession with approval. Sarah, the example I gave earlier, the straight A student, needed to realize that in real life, nobody's grading her. The only score that matters is her growth. Second, you have to embrace failure as feedback. Remember James? If he had been willing to fail forward, he might have started that business, written that book, or changed careers earlier. Instead, he chose safety over risk. And third, you have to take imperfect action. Straight A thinkers often tend to wait until everything is flawless before moving. What you need is not straight A thinking, it's bold thinking. And bold thinkers move while it's messy, and that's how they create extraordinary results. Let me tell you about someone who broke the pattern. Her name is Maya. She's brilliant, the top student all through school, but after graduation, she realized she was paralyzed by the need to be perfect. She wouldn't apply for jobs unless she met every single criteria. She wouldn't share her writing unless it was polished to perfection. One day, a mentor told her, Maya, you are playing small. Straight A thinking got you here, but it won't take you further. And that hit her. She decided to test something radical, posting her ideas online, unpolished, raw, imperfect. And guess what? People resonated with it. She got feedback, she improved, and opportunities started coming her way. What changed? Not her intelligence, but her mindset. She stopped living for A's and started living for growth. So, here's my challenge for you. Where in your life are you stuck in straight A thinking? Maybe it's at work, where you are afraid to speak up. Maybe it's in your dreams, where you are waiting for everything to be perfectly aligned before you take action. Maybe it's in relationships, where you are scared to take risk. This week, do one thing imperfectly. I dare you to do one thing imperfectly this week. Do one thing imperfectly. Send the email imperfectly. Pitch the idea imperfectly. Share the draft imperfectly. As messy and imperfect as it is, share it. Because bold action beats perfect planning every single time. Here's the truth. Straight A thinking can get you applause, but it can also lock you into average living. To live fully, you've got to embrace messy courage over perfect performance. Because the grade that matters most isn't on your report card or your transcript. It's in the story you are writing with your choices. Let me say that again. My baby was coughing. The grade that matters most isn't in your report card. It's in the story you are writing with your choices. This is the voice of self-discovery. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a recovering perfectionist in your life or somebody who is choosing grades over growth. And remember, extraordinary living starts where straight A thinking ends. Until next time, learn, love, live your best self because you matter.